Well, welcome everyone. So nice to have you all here. My name is Emily Brocious. I am a licensed clinical social worker and I'm the manager of community services at Beach Cities Health District. Beach Cities Health District is a public health district. It was founded in 1955 and we serve the three beach cities, Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, and Redondo Beach. I'll be speaking particularly about our community and health services department, where I'm the manager and I work under our director, Melissa. Our primary focus is serving older adults and then adults living with disabilities in the three beach cities through our care management program and then some other programs that we offer. Here's a breakdown of community services. This can feel like a little overwhelming, so I'm not going to go quite through all of it. We have some slides that pull out in a little bit more detail, especially some of the things that our GSWEC interns might be assisting with. But we do have an advocacy component, which is really, I think, most prominent through our Covered California benefits counseling. Our GSWEC interns historically don't help a ton with that, but they can support Diana Garcia, our intake specialist, in that. So she helps enroll people on Medi-Cal and other Covered California insurance plans during open enrollment, and then just helps with some general benefits counseling and enrollment, whether that's CalFresh, Social Security, a variety of things. We also have our information and referral program. This is something that sometimes our GSWEC interns can help with by supporting our hotline for a shift during their time with us. We're the first point of contact for the public. We're currently open 7 days a week, which we did, we started a few weeks ago being open on the weekends again, just due to a lot of calls that we're getting about vaccinations, especially for older adults and educators. That's a great opportunity to just, talk to someone quickly, assess their needs and kind of what they're looking for and get them connected with the right place, either whether it's within the district or an outside service or referral. The bread and butter of community services is our healthcare integration and our care management programs. We have 5 care managers and our GSWEC interns have the opportunity to manage a caseload of clients and work in conjunction with some of our care managers supporting them with their clients as well. Our care management program is for people 60 and older living in the beach cities or people with disabilities 18 to 59 living in the beach cities. What was I going to say? I'm not sure. Lost my trail of thought. Anyways, I was going to say that the primary purpose of this program is to support older adults and adults with disabilities maintain as much independence as they like, being safe, healthy, happy, ideally in their homes. We only serve people living in independent living settings, so we don't work with people in assisted living, boarding cares, or long-term care facilities. We provide comprehensive care management services, a thorough biopsychosocial assessment. I'll talk a little bit more about that though when we get to that slide. We have some community education opportunities as well for interns, primarily in our caregiver support and some other group programs. A lot of those have been on hold during COVID, but our hope is that by the fall, they may be up and running in some capacity and that interns would have an opportunity to help facilitate if they're interested. And then finally, we have our subsidized services. So as part of our care management program, folks who are at 600% of the federal poverty level or below are eligible for subsidized services through us, which means they pay a small copay for in-home care, incontinence supplies, emergency response buttons, other DME and things not covered through insurance that help support them in their homes. Okay, so here's a little bit more about our care management program. I've talked about this already, so I won't spend too much time, but we have a pretty, your kind of core care management model. So we do a comprehensive biopsychosocial assessment. Right now, it's all happening by phone. Once after COVID restrictions are no longer in place, we will resume doing those in the home. We develop a care plan in conjunction with the client that outlines the different services, resources, goals they want to work on together with us. And then we are in regular contact with them, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, sort of depends on their level of care, level of acuity and preferences. We have a pretty robust volunteer program. Some of these things have been on hold during COVID, but again, we're hoping to resume more of them when we are back in the office. I won't spend too much time on these, but there are opportunities for our interns to get matched, for example, as a brain buddy with one of our clients, where they would go to that person's house once a week and work with them on some different brain games and other socialization and fun activities to provide respite to their caregiver as well. And then we have some different community partnerships and support. I'll point out one, our South Bay Dementia Education Consortium is great and work with a lot of other really wonderful organizations in the county, including Alzheimer's Association and some other places. Okay. And then finally, our systems information referral line, I already talked about this, but this would be the hotline that is our first point of contact that interns might have an opportunity to help manage once a week. And it's a fun, kind of fast-paced way to get to connect with the community and other members of our team. These are some of the internship benefits I thought I'd point out with GSWEC. So we have weekly supervision, which obviously every place offers. We try to have a pretty hands-on supportive model from both our supervisor, which would either be me or Melissa, or one of our MSW interns, as well as we often link people with a preceptor, so they have another care management staff that they can work alongside of and under the leadership of. We have weekly community service case conferences with the community service team. We have monthly clinical case conference and didactics with just the care managers. We have a monthly all staff big picture meeting with this facilitated by the CEO. We have a Work Well workplace wellness program that interns can participate in, and it's pretty fun. And then additional trainings and workshops as they come up, we really encourage interns taking advantage of all of those that arise. And then finally, like I mentioned, we do have some groups, both support groups and then group education programs, which we're hoping to get back up and running in the fall or at some point during the next year, and interns may be able to assist in. This is my contact information. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. You can put it in the chat too. Oops, I'll put it in the chat, but I'll stop my share. And then, yeah, at this point, I think we have a couple minutes for if anyone has questions, maybe just raise your hand.
Just about a minute.
Yeah, okay.
I know that you
How
said,
many interns?
Sorry, Jean. Thank you for your presentation. I know you said remotely for COVID right now is an option. Is that from home, or are you coming into the office to work for video and telephone calls?
We are all working from home right now. We have also a couple staff are going in and out, but the interns are working from home. We have gotten everyone have the opportunity to get vaccinated, and we may be helping with some vaccine sites, helping not administer the vaccines, but helping facilitate these clinics that we're hoping to run in the near future for some of our seniors that have had trouble getting far away to get their vaccines. And interns may be helping with that. And then I'd say that in the fall, we're marketing it as a hybrid model, because I think we're just kind of unsure of where things will be. But definitely, if that is of concern to the intern, more than happy to talk about an option that might work with them. So we definitely want people to feel safe and imagine that we'll be working in some remote fashion, whether it's just part-time, starting in the fall.
Hi, my name's Kristen. I'm a social worker at Huntington Senior Care Network. We are the outpatient department of Huntington Hospital in Pasadena. Our mission statement is to positively impact the health and well-being of adults within our community. We serve residents all over the San Gabriel Valley. Our services are especially designed to address the needs of older adults, adults with disabilities and their caregivers. A description of services. GSWEC interns can work in several different care management programs, support groups, and community engagement. We have the following: the Resource Center, that is a free service to the community. Interns have the opportunity to learn about brief needs assessment, resource and referral provision, and complete intakes for the other care management programs that we have. and I'd be happy to talk to you more about that. We also have our 2 long-term care management programs, which are the Assisted Living Waiver Program and the Multi-Purpose Senior Service Program. A couple other agencies will talk about that as well. That's the MSSP program. These programs offer what used to be face-to-face in the home, now is all done telephonically because of the pandemic, monitoring of a care plan, assessment, and provide social work interventions as needed. Also includes the opportunity to care plan within an interdisciplinary group, very important part of the learning. We also have our short-term navigation management program, which is what we call our Senior Care Network Navigation. And this is for individuals that have been identified at the hospital, and they will need follow-up once they're discharged home. We do know that almost 80% of health outcomes are really dependent upon what an individual is going to do at home. So that's where we come in. This is an opportunity to provide follow-up post-hospital care and transition services, link individuals with community resources, create a health plan, follow up with public benefits, etc. We have our support group. This is we have our memory club, which is based off the Alzheimer's Association 8-week support, educational support group for folks that are experiencing memory impairments and their care partners. Our interns are highly encouraged to co-facilitate. This year, we are also offering a couple of different macro opportunities. The macro position is dynamic, and assignments may shift depending on community needs. Already this year, our intern that is working on a macro level really did have to shift, but I think he really enjoyed it because he was really able to keep up with policy and what was happening in real time. So really, again, it will depend on community needs and also your interest and your specialties. Currently working on what's called the Senior Care Line. This is coming right out of the pandemic to reduce isolation and loneliness amongst our older adults in our community, resource organization and process improvement for documentation standards. Also available to the macro student would be the observation of meetings, participation in trainings, and assisting with what we call our Senior Caring Fund program. And that's small grants that we are provided out into the community. We are providing out into the community, as well as coalition involvement and observation. Students are always asking, what's a typical day? There is no typical day at senior care. We ask that our students provide triage. The minute they come in, they're going to check their emails, their phone. They're going to check in with their preceptor or supervisor, make sure that their tasks are lined up. That can change on a day-to-day basis. If you have a client that's in crisis, you will manage that first, obviously. And that's what we mean by triage. But that being said, you will have the opportunity to learn flexibility, teamwork, time management, and consultation skills. The start of internship always begins with didactics on top of what you'll be getting with the GSWEC program. Shadowing and teach back, we'd be more than happy to talk to you more about that. Our populations that we serve the entire spectrum of adults living in the San Gabriel Valley. We serve individuals that are residing in Burbank, Hollywood, down to the Claremont and south to Diamond Bar. So we have a pretty wide catchment area. Our care management program, they offer services to the most disenfranchised population. So these are folks that are on Medi-Cal, and have low or no resources available. Schedule, we'd be more than happy to talk about that. We've been more flexible since going remote, but typically we ask our students to work 8:30 to 5 and to monitor their schedules accordingly. Everything that was just presented by Beach Cities in terms of what you'll be your learning opportunities, the biopsychosocial, cognitive assessment, depression assessment, care plan development, interdisciplinary collaboration, etc. We also provide the opportunity to work within a hospital setting. So you will have an understanding of what a medical social worker does and have a pretty firm knowledge of what medications and diseases affect older adults and the disease process. We place high competency on cultural involvement, working with clients and families who native language English is a second language, so we will make sure that you have a very diverse client population to work with. Huntington's very dedicated to educational trainings. We have hospital didactics. We provide department didactic and health plan training. Currently, we have 9 GSWEC alumni employee. I am also GSWEC, and we are committed to hiring as well. As soon as possible after graduation. Any questions?
Hello, my name is Hillary. I apologize if this was already addressed, but I just wanted to double check how you foresee COVID affecting internships this next year. Do you anticipate that students will be fully virtual again or hoping to move towards a more hybrid model?
I think that's the million-dollar question. I don't know if I have a very good firm answer for you. I would say that what I told students last year, and that is to have flexibility. We are in kind of a hybrid situation right now, which means a lot of remote work as well as some time in the office. But thank you for the question. I understand.
Yes, thank you so much.
And is this Monday through Friday only, or do you guys open on the weekends?
We are not open on weekends, so it is Monday through Friday. And we typically ask our interns to be in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we've made arrangements because we know the universities have changed your schedules.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Susan Belgrade, and I'm from Jewish Family Service of Los Angeles. I'm actually the director of the Senior and Multi-Purpose Centers of JFS. I wanted to start off a little bit about our mission. Jewish Family Service of Los Angeles is a multi-service nonprofit agency whose goals are to strengthen and preserve individual, family, and community life by providing a wide range of needed human services to people in the community at every stage of the life cycle, especially those who are poor and disadvantaged. The agency is guided by ethical and spiritual values of Judaism in its provision of services. What is our vision? JFSLA is an extended family of compassionate social workers that enriches the community and improves the lives of countless men, women, and children of all religions, ethnicities, and ages. For over 160 years, JFS has counseled families, fed the hungry, sheltered the homeless, and protected the vulnerable. As Los Angeles' oldest and most dynamic charitable organization, JFS is the trusted source of care and support in meeting the diverse and changing needs of a diverse and changing city. Who are we? JFS, we are staff, volunteers, partners, donors, and friends who all believe in one thing. We can change things, and we're going to do this as a family. This is the heart of JFS, people touching people, reaching out to nurture lives filled with dignity, meaning, and joy. This year, we have 2 sites offering internships. The first one is Freedom Moore Multi-Purpose Center. Now, I do want to say that it's currently called Freedom Moore Multi-Purpose Center, but it's going to be changed to the Gunther Hirsch Center and Jonah Goldrich Center. We are actually moving next month to a brand new state-of-the-art building on Fairfax, and it's gorgeous. And so we're really looking forward to that. So that is going to be one of the placement opportunities. The other one is Felicia Mayhood, which is in the West Side, and it's located on Corinth in Santa Monica. So our interns will have the opportunity to be supervised and mentored by geriatric professionals who are experienced in working with older adults and their families on a daily basis. So what are the experiences that our students will have at our 2 senior centers? The first one is intake. Currently, we respond to phone inquiries from individuals who need assistance in connecting to transportation services either within JFS or refer to external modes of transportation. We provide assistance in applying for government benefits such as Medi-Cal, CalFresh, in-home supportive services, as well as other community services. Staff and interns are trained to apply for various grants offered through the Jewish Federation and other nonprofit agencies. And we can assist clients in paying through these grants for utility bills, purchase of household appliances, and other emergency needs, such as rental assistance. Hopefully, in the fall, we can resume home visits, which has always been the essential part of training. At this time, of course, we don't know what the CDC guidelines are, and we will follow those. I imagine that it probably will be hybrid, but it's too soon to tell. So I'm answering, questions that all of you are asking. Is this going to be in person or is this going to continue to be virtual? I can't honestly say one way or another, but I'm imagining it'll probably be a hybrid. So the first part I talked to you about was intake. There's a second layer that we call interim case management. This is usually very short-term case management where somebody calls for some kind of, like you mentioned, grant, and there's a whole application process. So the social worker is interacting back and forth with the client several times. And I would say it's typically 3 or 4 sessions. That's our second level of intervention. The third is case management. Case management services is offered to our most frail and our vulnerable seniors who are 60 and over, and also we offer a lot of case management services to Holocaust survivors. And this is, I think, a little different than in many other agencies where you really get an opportunity to work with survivors who endured a great deal. We begin our case management services just like all case management services. You do a very comprehensive biopsychosocial assessment and a care plan. And we always suggest and advise our social workers that you do it collaboratively because we want our clients to buy into the care plan and to work together with our social worker. We work very collaboratively with our clients. Unfortunately, at this time, we do have students, but we're doing everything telephonically. I would say probably that's a challenge because really, as I mentioned before, the essence of social work is going to the home, visiting the client, because a client might say, oh, everything is fine. And then you walk into the house and you see that the apartment is hoarded and that there's no food in the house, and that then you discover that the client has fallen several times. So that has been a challenge. I do have to say that. One of the other things that you will see through our senior center is that we provide home delivered meals. We want to make sure that nobody suffers food insecurity. Typically, we have 16 dining sites through JFS. And I'm hoping once we open up, you will be able to see what our dining sites are like at Felicia Mayhood and at Freedom Work, because it's always exciting to go into the meal sites and see people interacting. There's usually trainings there as well about nutrition and health and wellness. So that's another piece. We also have a wonderful arts, wellness, and engagement program where we provide evidence-based classes, gait and balance classes. We have wonderful gyms. We have sing-alongs, operas, travelogues, educational classes. During COVID, we have moved our AW program, which is the abbreviation for Arts, Wellness, and Engagement. We have moved all our classes virtually, and currently we have 15 to 20 classes that we offer to our clients. Felicia Mayhood Multipurpose Center, this, as I mentioned, is located in the West Side. The unique aspects of this site is the opportunity to work with Farsi and Spanish-speaking clientele, as well as working with clients and their caregivers that are referred to us by the UCLA Dementia Team, Dementia Care Team at UCLA. Additionally, students will have an opportunity to work at Felicia Mayhood with Holocaust survivors. So, what are the unique aspects of our placements? You will have an opportunity to work with hoarders. You will have an opportunity to work with clients who are at risk for homelessness, opportunities to work with families as well as volunteers, attend staff trainings, having individual one-on-one supervision, of course, with your field person, supervisor, participating in meetings and trainings provided by our funding sources, gaining expertise in working with dementia patients and their families. Hopefully in the future, you will be able to attend health fairs that we oversee, and our Cafe Europa socialization program, which is specifically for Holocaust survivors, participate in agency seminars as well as group case conferences and many other things. So now I want to open it up to questions. Any questions?
What was the first location that you mentioned that was going to be your new one?
That's, it's on Fairfax in the Mid-Wilshire area. It's actually really close to, it's between Beverly and Oakwood, not too far from the farmer's market. And like I said, it's gonna, now it's called Freedom Moore, but we're gonna be renaming it, and it's gonna be called the Gunther Hirsch Jonah Goldridge Center. Any other questions?
Hello. My question is, does your organization provide any clinical experience?
You mean counseling? So I would say it would be more supportive counseling. The main focus of our trainings is case management, doing assessments. I wouldn't say the biggest focus is clinical work.
Hi, my name is Jamal Wesley. Can I pose a question?
Yes.
I'm just curious, how many interns is your agency looking to acquire for this upcoming year?
GSWEC usually takes on 4 students.
Okay.
Steve Barlam, who's the CEO of JFS Care, which is a division of JFS, will talk about placement opportunities at his program. And so we would say between Freedom War, Felicia Mayhood, and JFS Care is going to be 4 placement opportunities.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about the gestalt of JFS Care. It's not going to be so much in all the different tasks that you can do, but I want to give you a good feeling about our organization, what we've created over the last few years. And you should really be asking yourself, would you be right for us? Okay, so to begin with, we have been doing home care at JFS for over 40 years. But we're part of a larger organization, JFS LA, that Susan had talked about, that's been around for over 160 years. I want you to know that the biggest change for us in our history is that we have integrated private geriatric care management into the model of home care. So we're doing it a little bit differently than most home care organizations and really bringing a level of professionalism into it, which I think is kind of wow. Just to let you know, our organization, there's only 12 of us, and that includes 1 student. But next year we should be at 14. We're hopefully going to have 1 to 2 GSWEC students, if all goes well. And, we're really in that growth mode. When people ask me, who am I? What do I do? I don't just say I'm a social worker, but I say that I am a social worker and an entrepreneur, because I'm constantly thinking about what are the needs in the community, where are the gaps, and what can we be doing? And I use my professional training for the last 35 years to really be able to create some innovative programming to meet the needs that are there in the community. So we really exist to create better care experiences for our clients. And we do so in a culture that maximizes the potential of our employees. And we treasure them, and it's reflected in how we recruit, develop, reward, and retain our valued staff. We embrace change and the opportunity it brings to improve how we serve. So our core values, we are reliable, engaged, understanding. An important part, we are bold. And we are respectful and thoughtful. So when the question comes up, are we going to be seeing clients in their own homes? We will be. We have been this year. We do it in a very thoughtful way. We do it with PPE, and we do it to make sure that our staff feels safe and our clients are safe. But I'll tell you, it is a hybrid model, but it's not, you will not just be working out of your own home. And if that's something you're interested in, we wouldn't be the right organization for you. Okay? What we do in a nutshell, we help our clients and their families better live with the aging process. And we do it through personalized decision support. We create solutions for families, and we help people get unstuck, and we help them take action. For those needing home care resources, we provide quality home care. So we help seniors age in the manner of their choice. We help families, we help professionals, we help things keep moving. And we get the needed caregiving services in place if that's needed or requested, but we do so with a professional involved. So our services fall into 3 buckets. It's really about home care. That's not what you're going to be about. We do not expect our social workers to be doing home care for our clients, but it's providing the oversight and helping families. And then we have traditional private geriatric care management. And then we have this new innovative program. And I have to say, what we're looking for is a macro student. We want somebody who wants to roll up their sleeves and say, wow, here's the need. How are we going to do this? And work with staff to create and help us with the rolling out of an innovative model of care management, which we call on-demand family support. So traditional home care services are the help with ADLs and IADLs. You're not going to be doing that. We have caregivers who provide this level of care. But you may be involved in certain projects and programs to assist our caregivers, our working caregivers, okay? The second group of programs is what everybody has been talking about, traditional care management programs, but ours is different because we charge for our service. We're a private care management model. We charge about $160 an hour to $225 an hour for our clients. Yeah, I saw some people go, wow. It's a very different model. We're not for everybody, again. So it's all about the assessment, understanding, and focusing on the big 3, what I call the needs, the wants, and the risk factors. That's what it really boils down to in our biopsychosocial assessments. Then we develop a plan of care that organizes, prioritizes, measures progress with a rationale of why we're doing what we're doing. We deliver it in a timely way, and we want to assure quality through reassessments that are periodic and structured. Now, that's our traditional model, but we realize that in this time of COVID, right, things are a little wackadoodle out there. So the bottom of the slide talks about how COVID has affected our economy. COVID has affected accessing clients in hospitals, skilled nursing, assisted living. It's affected people that they're reluctant to have a care manager come into their home from a safety perspective, as well as it's affected our ability to keep our staff safe. So we were thinking, and the other overarching issue for this new model is that there are not enough geriatric social workers, nurses, caregivers to provide the care for the older adults. This is just a reality, and we're seeing it's getting worse. So we know, and we're getting ahead of the curve, and we say, so who is this falling upon? It's falling upon family members. So this whole program about this innovative model is really about how do we support families to do it better? How can we help as a social worker? How can we coach and get people to coach them off of the window sills, like when they're pulling out their hair and trying to take care of their mother or father? So the things that make this program and that drive it is we want to maintain that role, and we always have been at Jewish Family Service, and I have been a leader in the community, and that's a hallmark of this program. We also want to shift the focus away from the end user being the senior and shifting that in this program to it's the family. We want to help families do it better. We want to reach more clients with an affordable program. So we have created a subscription model that's much more affordable than $160 an hour, because we realize that doesn't work for everybody by all means. So we have created a much more affordable model, keeping staff safe, having this program be an evolution, not a revolution. We're not about blowing up what's working and that's traditional. It's adapting to clients' changing needs. It's standardizing the process, and it's capturing data so we can validate the value of care management and the value of the psychosocial, biopsychosocial approach, really focusing on some of the social determinants that obviously have impacted health. So the main features, again, it's focused on the family, it's a subscription model, it has an on-demand feature, and we have working with a company that has built a family app, and we'd want our student to be very involved with the development of that application. And so that's the macro side of it. And it's really using proprietary survey tools to ensure that we're delivering a consistent program. I'm not going to go through the timeline, but just to let you know, we started this back in May. It's been a very deliberate and thoughtful approach. So the macro opportunities for folks is with the program development and rollout, with the app and resource development, client and caregiver retention initiatives, caregiver training programs, program evaluation, and micro care management, assessments, care planning, caregiver support group, supportive counseling, and on-demand family support. So there will be opportunity to be in front of clients, but our real need and where we think we can shine and help you create remarkable experience is in being part of this innovative model in a macro way. So just to end this off, I promise, it's one more minute, Jason. It's the twos that set us apart, kind of the dichotomies, the kind of the twos. One is if you're interested in learning about business side. If you're not interested in the business side of things, we probably wouldn't be the right match for you. But there's business and clinical skills development. We have macro primarily with some micro learning opportunities. The focus on not just the end user, that whole person, senior, but also the whole family. It's really about innovation, but also tradition. It's two distinct populations served. We serve impoverished, poverty level, Holocaust survivors, people who are part of Jewish Family Service that Susan did such a beautiful job underscoring of sort of the clients they serve. But half of our business is also private pay business. That's where our private care management comes into play. We also have home care along with care management, integrated in the most seamless way. And then intimate, small setting. We're, a scrappy little organization, and I love that about us, but we're also part of a very large traditioned organization. So I want you to just take down my email. If you have any interest whatsoever, you'll be given instructions what next steps are. But I want you to have that so that way you can reach out to me and know how to take the next steps.
So Arosa, so we also do care management and integrated caregiving services. Our model is based off of the following premises: to attract, train, retain, and treasure the best care professionals, to create superior models of care that serve the largest number of clients, and to also walk a mile to build great relationships. And in doing so, we provide a variety of services, care management in the sense that we are also a private company. So that is a very unique and distinct differentiating factor. I myself am an LCSW and would be providing the direct clinical support. So I hope that students are not, wary of the concept of, as my colleague Steve mentioned, the concept of business integrated with also the concepts of social work, both from a clinical macro and micro level. In our field placement, we serve clients from a care management perspective, and that's from a variety of angles, both assisting them from referral sources that come legally, immediate crisis intervention, hospital discharge, adults with disabilities as well, housing resources, and also the complex family dynamics that come with adults as they age and their adult children, providing support with legal resources and community resources, and of course, advocacy. Integrated with that, we also provide home care, caregiving services, but the interns would really be working opportunities for both macro and micro level to work on large projects as well as individually with clients, both in that crisis intervention moment and also from a long-term perspective of long-term life care planning. We are a national company. We have 25 offices in 8 states. So there's also a really great dynamic opportunity to both operate and interface with professionals both in our local Los Angeles area, as well as care professionals across the United States. We have offices in Culver City and Pasadena, and then ranging from San Diego to Northern California and the 8 states that I did mention. So there's opportunities for interns to be housed if they're on the east side of LA County in our Pasadena location and also in our Culver City location. What else? I apologize. I had a slide and I'm just so sorry. My internet is just malfunctioning and it's not working for me today. But in addition to that, there's both group and individual clinical supervision that I would be providing. And also the opportunity to interface, again, like I said, with care managers that range from a very interdisciplinary approach, psychiatric RNs, LVNs, licensed clinical social workers, masters in gerontology, and also to learn from the wealth of knowledge that we have from our national scope of professionals and interface in that capacity as well. So I think that brings a very unique and dynamic approach to the services we provide. In addition, yeah, I think one, again, unique point, and I'll speak just on a personal note really fast, is that I myself have been an LCSW working largely in the nonprofit sector for, 10 plus years, 15 almost, and to really have an opportunity to learn both the dynamic ways that we as social workers can make a difference, both also from a nonprofit capacity but also serving clients that also are for pay. And I know that can be a tension and a juxtaposition at times, but I will share personally all that I've learned in my ability to really make those connections and learn how to service a broad range of clients. Our clients are primarily private pay and also covered through long-term care health insurance. Sorry, there was a cute little visitor in the back of your screen, Jason, so I got a little distracted there. But anyhow, our students, again, would really have the opportunity to work directly with clients, both in the assessment phase, consultation, and then that ongoing care management. They would work with our interdisciplinary team of care managers and be supervised directly by myself, both on clinical and micro and macro levels. So I apologize for my a little bit of technical difficulties here. I hope I've been able to offer a broad scope and understanding of some of the services that we provide, and I would love to open it up for any additional questions that I might have brushed over.
Hi, my name is Valina. Thank you for the information.
Sure.
My question is, I heard you say you're a nonprofit and a private pay. And so I'd like to, you're nonprofit and private pay. Okay.
Sorry, I want to clarify. No, we are actually a for-profit company.
Oh.
So when I was alluding to that, that is a very unique distinction in our placement.
Okay. And what is your funding source? Is it just the clients that pay?
Correct, as well as coverage through long-term care insurance. Typically, we do have some contract with Regional Center, so that we do have a portion of our clients that we serve adults with disabilities and the MS Society. So there is a range in that regard, but I would say the majority are private pay seniors.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer George. I am the Director of Community Social Services at the Motion Picture and Television Fund, otherwise known as MPTF. But more important than my title, I'll tell you that I'm a GSWEC alum. And so everything that I'm going to talk to you about today in the program that we've developed at Motion Picture for GSWEC interns is based on that experience. I'll start by showing you a brief video just to give you a sense of who MPTF is. We serve folks exclusively in the film and television industry that work both in front of and behind the camera. So that immediately sets us apart from some of the other organizations that you're hearing from today. We serve a very unique population of creative individuals who have dedicated themselves to provide you all with the entertainment that you see day in and day out. So bear with me. If you have any trouble seeing this, please let me know.
In 1921, Mary Pickford created a support system for workers in the entertainment industry, a family that would support each other in times of need, the Motion Picture Television Fund. Today, MPTF still supports the founder's vision of dignity, opportunity, and community in more ways than you can possibly imagine.
I'd say probably the hardest thing in the first meeting was asking for help.
Motion Picture and Television Fund is our safety net.
What is this place? It's a child care center for entertainment industry people.
It's not your typical daycare center.
It just blew my mind what a fantastic facility and what a beautiful environment they created there.
It's a beautiful place to live.
People that have worked hard are respected, are revered, and are taken care of.
I love it here. I've been here 8 months now.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy here.
Sound men, makeup artists, electricians, set decorators, directors, producers, agents.
The main portion of the work today is about safety.
Work is our life is our work.
Engaging content created by seniors.
Wait.
It's been a blessing for everybody.
Genuinely, there's a feeling of family, of looking after everybody. And let's face it, all of us at certain times need help.
When a fellow industry member is in need, we've got their back. We're here to support them.
The fund does so much that you don't see here that's out there.
It's a lifesaver. Saved my life.
We are the ones who make it happen.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much.
The spirit of the Motion Picture Television Fund is taking care of each other.
We're all extremely proud to be in an industry that not only celebrates its past, but really takes care of its future. And you are it.
MPTF is all-inclusive. Whether you are a studio executive or a crew member, if you or your family have a need, MPTF will find a way to get you the information. All you have to do is ask.
We take care of our own.
It's important for those of us that are just starting in the industry to contribute in any way we can so that money is there for those who need it and so that money is there for us when we need it.
Give us a little cuddle. Okay. 102, eh?
So that gives you just a little sneak peek of who we are as an organization. And more than anything, I wanted you to get a feel for who we are. We're a community, we're a family that's here to serve people in innovative and new ways, whatever it takes to give someone help and to be of service and to lend a helping hand is who we are. Most people know MPTF based on our retirement community out in Woodland Hills, but we also have a satellite office in Burbank where the vast majority 14 of our staff, the rest of our staff work in Woodland Hills, but the 14 staff are responsible for all community-based services that MPTF provides. Last year, we served well over 10,000 people and gave away about $4.3 million in charitable assistance. And that's the other thing that sets us apart. Folks that work in the industry, despite what you may think, are not rich. They have not planned well for their retirement. They're creative individuals who have dedicated themselves to their craft. And all of a sudden, they're 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, and they don't have the means to provide for themselves anymore. They have disrupted family systems because they've worked on sets for long periods of time, often away from their family, very pervasive prevalence of mental health and substance use issues. We have 3 different internship opportunities. The first one is our flagship opportunity, and that is out of our Elder Connection program. That program serves community dwelling older adults who are 65 years of age and older in their family. They could be living in their own apartment, house, skilled nursing facility, assisted living, board and care. And essentially what we do as social workers and what you would be doing as an intern is providing intensive clinical case management. We do not differentiate between case management and traditional clinical therapeutic work. You cannot do one without the other. If you don't know how to develop rapport, if you don't know how to have a relationship, you will never be effective to create change. So you could have the best resources in your mental Rolodex and still not be able to get the client to access those services. And so what we do, whatever the problem is, clients come to us, they call an intake line number. Maybe it's a new diagnosis. Maybe it's been a recent fall in the home, a changing condition, maybe in their cognition, a family member's concerned, a neighbor's concerned, a physician's concerned. People come to us and we do a very comprehensive biopsychosocial assessment. And we go out into the community and we help people. Now, during COVID, we've been working remote, so we've had to pivot to a telehealth platform. And so we've had to develop a whole new skill set of how do we assess people in the home setting when we can't physically go there. Historically, prior to COVID, for interns, those case assignments are based on where you live. We serve all of California, and actually nationally, we have clients across the board. But in terms of case assignment, we assign based on where you live in connection to the Burbank office. So we already know you know how to drive, but right now we are remote, so I want to be transparent in that. So that's sort of the first opportunity. The second opportunity is on our main campus. And most of the imagery that you saw there is of our 40-acre retirement campus in Woodland Hills. We have independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, a secure dementia unit. We have a behavioral health unit for individuals 55 that's actually open to the whole community. It's not industry specific. We have an outpatient geriatric clinic, and we have an award-winning palliative care team. So the student, and we take one student on campus, possibly two, does a rotation through the different levels of care. So you have an opportunity to work with residents that are in our independent living sector, in our skilled nursing, in our secure dementia unit. There's a lot of assessment, cognitive screening, depression screening, as well as the opportunity to provide more traditional one-on-one therapy. All work with older adults as family work. And so you're going to be exposed to that. There's opportunities to do both group work, both on campus as well as in the community. Matter of fact, 3 of our 4 interns are co-facilitating caregiver support groups right now. So there's lots of different opportunities. We do lots of different things throughout Motion Picture. So we have the flexibility to kind of customize your experience based on your interests, and that kind of sets us apart. The third opportunity is with our award-winning palliative care team. And palliative care is for anyone who has not just a terminal condition, but any life-altering condition, because that could be someone with dementia, that could be someone with ALS or MS, as you saw in the film clip. And so we have a chaplain, we have a nurse practitioner, and we have a social worker who's dedicated to that program. And for the last 2 years, we very proudly have been able to integrate a social work intern into that program who carries a caseload and works with clients on advanced care planning, end of life issues. A lot of stuff comes up when you're newly diagnosed with a condition. There's lots of unresolved issues. And so by nature, it's a very micro position. But all the positions at MPTF, if you have to have a good understanding of meso macro issues in order to do good micro practice. And so those are our 3 opportunities. Your booklet with all of this gives much more detail, but I'm here to answer any questions. We take 4 students in total. How that spreads out depends on the interest. We're normally Monday through Friday, usually either 8 to 4:30 or 8:30 to 4:30. And that's MPTF in a nutshell. Any questions?
Hello, my name is Belina. I have a question.
Hi.
What is the caseload of an intern coming in?
Yeah, it really depends on which internship opportunity you select. So if you were to select the Elder Connection, which is out of the Burbank location, usually the caseload really is between 3 to 5 cases. And the reason why is because the intensity of those cases fluctuates. So you may have someone in crisis that could spend your whole week working on that case, but we work up until, there's a lot of discussion with your supervisor about capacity and what you're able to manage based on how many hours that you're there. But usually it's between 3 and 5. We create a pretty diverse caseload. You may be working with individuals, a whole family system. The reason why you're working with them, the goals of care may be diverse across the board. Palliative care is a little faster pace. It's a medical model. So you will be seeing people in clinic. You may see them one time, and then you may have a subset of clients where you're working with them on a more routine basis. And the same thing for our rotation on our main campus. You may have a one-time interaction, and then you may have a subset of folks that you're working with. We've never gotten a complaint that it feels overwhelming. We have a long-term model, so we're not short-term focused. We allow our students to work with clients for the whole internship, and so it allows for a different interaction with folks.
Sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Just first question, is there a certain number of hours that your interns are expected to work? And second, is there one program that is an absolute kind of across the board has to be done, like in person? I know you mentioned that there are some kind of cases are assigned or based on where you live, and also you mentioned the satellite agency.
Absolutely. So Our Elder Connection program out of Burbank is 100% remote. I have no way of telling you if that will change by the time it's, time for you to intern. I honestly don't see that happening just yet. It's dependent on a number of factors. Our palliative care position as of right now has been 100% remote. The only position that's been in person has been our intern that rotates on our main campus. Angie, tell me the first part of your question. I don't think I answered it.
Is there like a number of hours that your interns work, say if we return back?
Whatever your requirement is for school, we don't ask you to do anything beyond that.
Great, thank you.
I saw a question in the chat. Go for it.
I was wondering what you're looking for in an intern. Does an intern have to, specifically, does an intern have to have an interest in motion picture as well? Or is, just geriatric care is
Really, we're looking for people. That's a wonderful question. Thank you for posing it. We're really interested in people who have a passion with working with older adults, first and foremost. I actually prefer that you don't care about the film and television industry because that's really not the motive to come to work for us or to be an intern for us. It is first and foremost about being of service and caring about the welfare of older adults. And that is 100% what we're looking for. When you come to interview with us, we'll ask you 101 questions, but that's ultimately what I'm trying to garner is, do you really have a passion for this population? Why do you want to work with this population at this time? Wonderful question. I saw a question in the chat that just asked me to briefly talk about sort of the interdisciplinary aspect. That really happens across all of those 3 internship options because you're having to do care coordination. You're having to collaborate with doctors and psychiatrists and neurologists about different clients. The palliative care by its very nature is, we actually consider it transdisciplinary versus interdisciplinary because they change roles and sometimes take on other responsibilities. From the student's perspective, you'll have an opportunity to engage with and be part of a team. That's very important to us. So even though our staff are working remotely, we're constantly engaging them. We're having team meetings. We're socializing when that's important to lift morale. And so you're part of us. You're not the intern. You're part of our team. And so everything in many ways is interdisciplinary.
I have a question. I'm sorry, another question.
Sure.
When you're matching, when you conduct the interview and you begin the matching process to determine which intern would be best placed at what process, is that something that an intern has any control over?
Oh, yes. We, as Steve was saying, fit is really important. So as much as this is about, are we the right fit for you? It's also, are you the right fit for us? And so if you were to pick, so if you were thinking about MPTF as an option, when you call to schedule an interview, you'd say, hey, I'm interested in MPTF, Jennifer. And I would probably say to you, is there a particular location or one of the 3 that you're most interested in? And all it would mean is you might have to do more than one interview. So I'm I'm responsible for all things GSWEC at MPTF. I'm the field instructor for the Burbank office. And my colleague, Jessica Coy, is the field instructor for the campus, which includes palliative care. But the initial interviews with me, so we'll be clarifying that when you come to me.
I'm Diane Golden. I'm the Director of Social Work at Pacific Clinics. I'm very happy to see so many of you here on the screen. Pacific Clinics is a private nonprofit behavioral health care organization. Within the organization, we actually work with the entire lifespan, everything from early intervention, Head Start services, and we go all the way up through and include older adult services. But obviously for your purposes today, I want to focus a little bit on the older adult programs and what GSWEC interns do at our organization. So first and foremost, Pacific Clinics will work with older adult clients to help them achieve a better, more fulfilling life. How we get there really depends on the needs of specific clients, how they're coming to us, and what work we're going to do on behalf of the clients and with them in partnership. So some clients might come to us coming out of homelessness or right out of prison, out of psychiatric hospitalizations, might be the other kind of end of the spectrum, just individuals struggling to maintain their independence in the community. or someone who maybe is just struggling, having a recent loss or something going on in their lives. So it really depends. We might end up doing case management services that might be food, clothing, shelter kinds of things, or reconnecting people with employment, but really the essence of it is within the context of the relationship. We do a lot of integrated work. We are a county contract Department of Mental Health agency, and so accordingly we do mental health services in our organization, both short and long-term care, integrated services, which means that we're not just seeing a person as a mental health diagnosis, but if they have any other kinds of things going on, we're going to be addressing them together holistically. So if there's health-related issues that might bring them to us, we're going to kind of look at that holistically. And similarly, if there's co-occurring substance use issues, we're going to be looking at that as well. All of our interns are in the function at our organization as any of our mental health therapists. So all of our GSWEC interns are given mental health caseloads, if you will, and you become a part of the multidisciplinary team where you might be working alongside psychiatrists, nurses, other therapists, case managers, or mental health workers. In some programs, we have peer partners as well. But really the essence is around the collaboration and working together. Students might be working with folks who have a range of diagnoses, and while certainly they are not their diagnosis, the lived experience that they come to us with is going to be certainly a part of the GSWEC students' experience. Diagnoses that a student might be exposed to at our organization might include anything from schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, some personality disorders, and then as I had mentioned, because we do the integrated work, integrated care, where if they have substance abuse related issues, they may have secondary diagnoses of substance use. And that's something we're really emphasizing and wanting our students to kind of embrace and not just come to us wanting to learn the mental health, but also learning how to treat substance use, or if there's co-occurring health issues, how are they going to navigate the system so that we don't treat someone and say, oh, you're diabetic. Well, we're not doctors. We don't talk about that, but really we're going to look at everything together systemically. All of our GSWEC students, all of our interns for that matter, are going to learn DMH paperwork, which is a very nice marketable skill, and documenting electronically, so that those are some skill sets. While the learning curve is steep, we embrace it, and I think our students embrace it as well. Just really finding ways to translate what you're doing with people and get that documented. Teaching our students how to do mental status exams and how to integrate that into the work that they're doing with their consumers, how to assess one's activities of daily living, and then kind of from doing assessments and working with their clients, figuring out ways to incorporate healthy aspects of aging into the work that they're doing. So, there's a lot of the work that happens in non-COVID world is field-based and clinic-based. Similar to other organizations, I would say some of our programs, and I do have a representative from one of ours, which we'll get to in a minute, Virginia Orantes, some of our programs are already doing some in the field direct work because there were clients who weren't able to access our services or didn't have the knowledge in terms of computer usage, even when we provided them with tablets. So some of our students have already begun working face-to-face with clients, but I would definitely say we're a combination. This year, the majority of our interns have done the work remotely, but we're definitely shifting more to a hybrid model, which is what I'm anticipating for the fall. But obviously we're taking our guidelines from the CDC. But there's several learning opportunities within the context of that, regardless of what model we end up having, that we make sure that we have for all of our interns. The locations of where our GSWEC placements will be are, I think, really kind of an effort to provide our culturally responsive services. We have one placement in Pasadena, and that will require either Spanish speaking or Armenian speaking, because it's really the populations that they're working with in that program. We also have one, although I'm still working on trying to eke out another one, in Santa Fe Springs. So that's a placement opportunity as well. They prefer Spanish, but that's not a requirement at that location. And then at our Asian Pacific Family Center in Rosemead, we currently have 2 opportunities available that would require either Mandarin, Cantonese, or Vietnamese language skills for the clients. All of our interns, regardless of which program they're from, we do have an expectation that students are with us at least 20 hours a week. So the good news is all of our students are classified as temporary part-time employees. And so accordingly, for the hours that you're working with us, we do compensate by paying minimum wage for all of our interns and an additional bilingual differential on top of that. And that is how the GSWEC stipend is paid, is as minimum wage plus the differential. Another kind of thing to sweeten the pot, and part of the reason we have the 20-hour-a-week expectation is that one of the hallmarks of our program is an extensive training calendar that we offer all of our interns. So in addition to the 3 GSWEC didactics that all GSWEC students would get, we also provide regular training throughout the academic year. The beginning of internship, I would say the trainings are a little bit more, what do you need to know to do the job, like DMH paperwork and how to document electronically, but then really moving into could be evidence-based trainings like seeking safety, or trauma-informed care trainings, or how to work with maybe an older adult who might want to enter the workforce as, you know, on a part-time basis. So kind of a range of trainings. We've had integration of spirituality and mental health. We offer some pre-licensure courses like intimate partner violence. So it really runs the range throughout the year. In second semester, I work with all the interns in smaller group seminars where students are really given the opportunity to present clinical cases across the lifespan, and really to do that from a social work perspective. So lots of great opportunities for learning for students. Pacific Clinics really sees our internship program as part of our workforce development plan. So accordingly, we do a lot to try and retain our interns post-graduation. We do hire a lot of them. Virginia, as I mentioned, who's the supervisor in Pasadena, is a great example, who many, many years ago was a GSWEC student of ours, graduated, got hired in another one of our divisions, worked there for several years, got licensed, and is now returned to the site where she was a GSWEC student. So I don't know, Virginia, if you want to say anything, and if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to open it up for that.
Yeah, just real quick about my opportunity. It's been amazing working here with Pacific Clinics. As Diane mentioned, I've been able to grow from the bottom up, as you can see. And so it's about putting the time and effort and the interest that you have and taking advantage of all of the trainings that we offer and we have available. And again, the opportunity to stay within the agency, to start working on your hours, has just been completely amazing. And that's something that you wouldn't have to worry about too much once, you know, come graduation time. And so please stay.
Any questions?
I had a question. Would interns have the opportunity to do any like end of life documentation, like advanced directives or anything like that?
Virginia, is that something in your program?
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. That's something that we refer to our clients to be able to do with their primary care physician.
Okay.
But it's something that we do verify whether they have it in place or not.
And I would say if it was causing them a clinical like challenge, if they were challenged by what to do, that might be something that might show up in the treatment setting. If it was impacting their mental health, if it was causing them anxiety or something like that, we would certainly be involved that way.
Correct.
And I just wanted to clarify, I know it was mentioned the Pasadena and the Rosemead locations. Spanish and Armenian are required languages for those two locations?
No, thank you for asking clarification. Pasadena requires Spanish or Armenian. Rosemead requires either Mandarin, Cantonese, or Vietnamese. And then Santa Fe Springs, and I'm hoping to have 2 placements there, will either be Spanish or nothing, no specific requirement. And question, this year, unfortunately, we do not have any macro opportunities this year. We're taking 21 MSW interns total in the organization for next year's internship. That's actually low for Pacific Clinics. And unfortunately, that was one of the cuts in placements for right now. So I'm even hoping that by May, I might be able to get some more placement commitments from our organization. But I think because of COVID, things have been a little uncertain.
To
Okay, well, thank you.
piggyback off of that question, sorry, do we have to move
No,
on?
go ahead.
That's
Go ahead.
Okay, for the macro opportunities, if you're coming from a program that you're in a macro like concentration, but you want to do clinical, would you still consider someone from?
If your school is okay with our placement being a clinical placement, if it meets the requirements for your university, we're fine with it. So it would, I think it's one of those things, if you're in either, adult mental health and wellness, because I see you're at USC, if they're fine with it, for adult mental health and wellness, it definitely would be. For the, and I don't even know what the name of it now, social change and innovation.
Innovation, yeah.
You would need to talk to them if it required macro types of experiences, because this is really going to be a direct clinical experience.
I will talk about the VA, which I actually did my internship in geriatrics 39 years ago, believe it or not. And I fell in love with the VA. I didn't think I would. I thought that working with veterans sounded like this very sort of macho, militaristic thing that I would hate. But I had this wonderful experience with the head of social work who came to present at my school. And I thought, I'm going to give it a try. And I loved it. So let me give you a little bit of information about the VA GSWEC experience. We are a federal agency, which is kind of different than some of the other agencies. We are the largest employer of social workers in the country, over 12,000 social workers, and the largest training program. We have over 1,100 trainees. One of the things that we do with trainees is we encourage you to get hired afterwards, and we have something called direct hire. We're really encouraged to do that, and it's a great opportunity because you've already had 9 months of training at the VA. One of the things that I can say about the VA is it's a good place to grow because we have so many different types of programs, micro, macro, meso, that you can actually transfer from one program to another when you actually work at the VA, but that also applies to GSWEC because we want you to have your field placement with one person, but we also want you to have preceptorships with other people. And it could work two ways. Maybe you could be in our geriatric primary care clinic, but also do our women's health clinic because we have a special women's health program, and do that through the whole year. You might also do something like a hospice rotation or a palliative care rotation. You might run a group in our adult day healthcare program. You might run a group in our mental health clinic. So there's a wide variety of opportunities. I'm going to send out the blurbs just to make sure that you all have that, along with our flyer for our open house, which is going to be on March 17th, because I want you to meet with the different field instructors virtually this year to find out more about their take and their experience and what they would be offering in GSWEC. So we offer inpatient medicine, dementia care, psychiatry. That's at the West LA site. We also offer a lot of outpatient opportunities in mental health, in medicine, in primary care, adult day health care, inpatient respite, hospice, nursing home, which we call our community living center. So those are some of the opportunities. All of the students in GSWEC are given the opportunity to become competent at a comprehensive geriatric assessment, which is one of the geriatric competencies. The other competency in geriatrics is being part of an interprofessional team. Interprofessional is more the sort of international term for an interdisciplinary team. An interdisciplinary team, everyone in the team is treated equally. Multidisciplinary, the doctor is in charge and tells people what to do. That's not the interprofessional or interdisciplinary model, because in geriatrics, everyone contributes to the care of the older adults. And in this case, it's veterans. One of the things about veterans is we have a lot of veterans who suffer from PTSD. So there are opportunities to work with veterans, whether it's in groups, individuals, with families who are suffering from post-traumatic stress. We do a lot of trauma recovery. We do a lot of mindfulness. We do a lot of evidence-based treatment, whether it's group or whether it's individual. And you may ask, what type of opportunities are we doing this this coming year with COVID? And it's really mostly a hybrid experience. If you're in the dementia unit at West LA, you actually do come in, but we use all PPE, we use all safety precautions. We give every student the opportunity to get a COVID vaccine. We don't force it, but if you want that, that is available to you. That is in person, but the majority of the opportunities are more hybrid. So either you work virtually, remotely from home, or what a lot of students like to do and feel comfortable with and want to do is they come in to the office, which is either West Los Angeles or Sepulveda, which is in the San Fernando Valley. And they're doing their intervention from their office securely and safely, but they're doing either video connect or they're doing telephonic intervention. And I will say, oftentimes it's with the caregiver, and the caregiver could be a grandchild, it could be a spouse, it could be a neighbor. So there's a lot of intergenerational work that you're doing, even when working with older adults, because obviously it takes a village. There are also macro and meso opportunities. One of the things that we have at the VA is the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Program, which is very much a whole health model where you would learn about health coaching, doing a lot of motivational interviewing. Oftentimes there's crisis intervention involved. You might be doing a mindfulness group and you find out that a veteran is suicidal. Unfortunately, a lot of veterans have a much higher rate of suicide, and that includes female veterans too, because they've all been trained to use guns. And so that is a big part of the training, is how do you assess, how do you treat, how do you intervene, and how do you work with the interprofessional team when those kinds of things are happening. But you always have your field instructor, you always have your preceptor, you always have your team, and it's a very exciting place to work. We have a GREC, which is a Geriatric Research Education Clinical Center, and the GREC does a lot of research and loves to have GSWEC students involved in research, in program evaluation, program development. So there definitely are macro experiences. We sort of got cut off before I could answer when we first had our little small group. If you're a macro student at the VA, you would be expected to do 75% of your experience would be macro, and then 25% would be micro or meso. So you always have a range of experiences. If you're micro, 75% is micro, and then 25% is macro. We really want you to have the full range of clinical and organizational experiences, because you're going to need both. You're going to need all of it in when you graduate and you go into the field of social work. The stipend is $6,685, and that's after taxes. It's actually $7,195, just so you know. We also, if you do get hired, we have student loan forgiveness, which is always a plus for people going through, right after school. We don't have a typical day. A lot of people ask, what's a typical GSWEC day? We don't really have a typical day, because we want to give you an experience that is kind of created for your areas that you need more experience, what you're interested in, what you want to try. We have you placed with a field instructor, but we do preceptorships and we do what we call experiences in the world of COVID, where you're doing more smaller experiences where you might sit in on a contract nursing home or a community residential care assessment. We, in addition to having inpatient and outpatient programs, we have community-based programs. So we contract with nursing homes in the community in addition to the nursing homes we have on site. And we have social workers who go out and evaluate the veteran in the facility. We have social workers who case manage veterans in a residential care facility. We're doing that remotely right now. And I will say one of our GSWEC graduates got every single one of her adult day healthcare veterans in-home supportive services, which is pretty darn amazing. And so we love GSWEC students and we love hiring GSWEC students, and we have a whole cadre of GSWEC alum at the VA who are now field instructors, which is kind of a nice full circle. What else did I want to mention? We have summer block field placements, 2 of them, if you're interested in that. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. That's pretty standard. We don't have any kind of required number of hours. It's what your school requires. You do have to complete 500 hours of internship, but you're always going to go over that because you always do more than that when you're an intern, whether you're in a 16-hour program, a 20-hour, or a 24-hour program. So it just gets spread over the whole year that you're there. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Someone had mentioned advanced directives. That's actually something at the VA that we are very involved with. We work, of course, with the interprofessional team, but it's the social worker. If somebody has a question about completing an advanced directive, the VA has a really comprehensive advanced directive that we work with veterans to complete. What we're doing now is mostly talking with them either through video or telephone. We then mail them the document. We then call them and go over the document with them, and then they mail it back and we scan it into their record. We also have an iPad, an ePad where we can do it electronically, but because of COVID, we really haven't been doing that. I think that especially with COVID, more and more veterans want and need an advanced directive because that's something that they're really concerned about. We're talking life and death right now. We also have advanced directives for family members because oftentimes it's the caregiver who really needs treatment because they're having some kind of health issue, because oftentimes they're the ones that are the most stressed, and the veteran needs to know what the spouse or the friend or the long-term partner wants in terms of their health care. So we do advanced directives. We do a lot of therapy, evidence-based treatment. We also do a lot of long-term therapy because you're there for 9 months, and there's a lot that you can learn and the veteran benefits from when you can do more long-term treatment. I think that's about all that I was going to say. The basic sites are in the San Fernando Valley. It's called Sepulveda, VA, and West Los Angeles. But we have veterans coming from as far away as San Luis Obispo, coming from Bakersfield, San Gabriel Valley, East LA, downtown LA, and sometimes, rotations can be done at some of those sites. Right now, it would probably be done more virtually, but we're going to see what happens. I will say one thing that's been really kind of special this year is that some of our students have helped in our COVID vaccine clinic, which is a pretty intense kind of situation where veterans finally are able to come in and get vaccinated. And sometimes they've been, trying and waiting for, when we were finally able to give the vaccine. And it's the social workers and some of the GSWEC interns who help them go from the injection area where they get the vaccine to the observation area. And oftentimes, we have a mask on, they have a mask on, they have hearing loss. We do a lot of lip reading, even if we don't realize we do, even those of us with decent hearing. So we teach them how to communicate with an older adult when they may have difficulty hearing. And oftentimes, not that all GSWEC students are female, there are male students as well, but female voices are higher, softer, it's harder for them to hear. So we really talk about how do you communicate effectively, especially during COVID, with an older veteran who may have a host of medical and psychiatric issues. So there's a lot of hands-on sort of real life experiences that you would have at the VA. We have had students in our hospice unit. Sometimes the veteran has passed away, which is its own experience and something that we do a lot of processing with. You have a field instructor and you have weekly supervision with that person. We also do group supervision. And we also encourage the students to work together because as GSWEC students, you are a cohort of professionals and you can work together and be in contact with each other the rest of your lives. I mean, there's so much that you can learn about jobs, about new skill sets, about studying for the LCSW that you don't get in other settings. And I know a lot of our students, former students, told their GSWEC colleagues about the VA or other agencies in GSWEC, and they got jobs. So there's just a very strong support for the GSWEC program, and the VA is part of that. And we're really, really proud to be part of that. And I'm proud that GSWEC students at the VA have the opportunity to work with veterans because there's such a wide variety of veterans. I won't even try to describe the different experiences, but from homeless veterans who may not have, even the ability to, take care of themselves because they have no income, to very, higher educated veterans who've, run different programs who may have been diagnosed with MS or ALS or spinal cord injury and are having to deal with these huge adjustments to their lives and what it means to them and their family and their identities. We have a dementia clinic, and I used to be the good cop in the dementia clinic, and my neuropsychology buddy was the bad cop. He would tell the veteran, you have a diagnosis of possible or probable Alzheimer's disease. And he would be the one that would have to say, and you are no longer safe to drive. And I'm telling you, that was a hard team conference and intervention to do with an older adult, whether it's a male or a female. So much of our lives has to do with driving. And so I would be the good cop, and I would be the one that would say, oh, but we have these transportation resources that we can offer. And we can talk with you and your family about adjusting to life without driving. So I don't think I mentioned that we also have a home-based primary care program. And our home-based primary care, it's a primary care team that goes out to the home. And we call it HBPC. There are lots of different terms that we use at the VA. HBPC, home-based primary care, is really interested in having a student this year. And so that is also a very unique opportunity. And I know a lot of my colleagues have talked about home care and what it's like to go out to somebody's home. But our HBPC team has a wonderful team, and the physician, who's a geriatrician, goes out with her COVID vaccine and is giving the home care veterans their vaccinations. And the social worker is very involved in all of those cases. And it's just a very unique experience. You would never go out alone, and probably at this point you wouldn't be going out into the home, but we don't know what's going to happen next year. And so one of the things that's kind of exciting about GSWEC and about the VA is that there are lots of possibilities, and it's a very creative kind of organic place to work because there are a lot of moving parts right now. So you may or may not be going out into the field in the home-based primary care program, but that is a possibility. I know that the social worker is going out, and you always go out with a team, which I think is also kind of a unique opportunity, because the social worker might be talking to the caregiver while the physician is doing an exam on the veteran, and you find out in your interview that the caregiver is getting abused by the veteran. And then there's the whole thing about, well, we have to contact Adult Protective Service. We have to see what resources are available for the caregiver. Then we have to talk to the team and find out how we're going to work together, and reporting and all of those things. So it's a very dynamic setting. There are a lot of different opportunities. And I'm excited about you as the next cohort of GSWEC students. We just celebrated 20 years. GSWEC just celebrated 20 years last year. So this is our 21st year. And that's about all I have to say right now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miles McNeely. I'm representing Wise and Healthy Aging. Just give me a moment as I pull up my, slides. Here we go. Okay, so glad to be here with you all this afternoon. Again, I'm representing Wise and Healthy Aging. We're a nonprofit social service organization that provides a variety of services to older adults and caregivers throughout LA County. We have several different locations throughout the county, and I'm going to talk more in detail about each one of those locations and as how they pertain to each program and placements. So we have 3 unique placement opportunities. I'm going to begin by talking about our holistic elder abuse response team, which is one of the programs that I manage. It's the impetus of this program was really coming from a realization that there's a huge gap in services for older adults and dependent adults that are experiencing some form of abuse or mistreatment. The typical trajectory of an Adult Protective Services report is an APS worker will go out and do an investigation and try to determine if allegations can be confirmed by the older adult, and then if so, does this person want to be connected to services? Very little of those services can be provided in-house at APS in most jurisdictions across the country, and they're usually relying on other organizations to provide the services needed by the older adult. So if it's something that's legal related, they might be referred to one organization. If it is mental health related, it might go to another place. And then sometimes people can get lost in the system thinking about the complex intake processes, the navigating phone menus, all of thinking of transportation and mobility barriers. So our program came about to really be that holistic kind of one-stop program that can really address all of these needs that somebody might be experiencing. We are unique nationally. There's not a lot of programs like ours. I think there might be a handful. As far as our referral sources, we get most of our referrals from Adult Protective Services, and we have a really great relationship. They really appreciate having a program like this that they can make those referrals to help with their cases. We get referrals from a variety of other sources. We have a do what it takes model, meaning that we really want to be creative in how we are able to provide the level of support that is being identified by our clients. We're client-centered. We use the term "you're the boss" a lot. We want to make sure that any kind of directive is coming from our clients. I'm going to talk a little bit in more detail about the Do What It Takes model and what that might look like in terms of day-to-day work. We're located in the Long Beach Ombudsman Program office, but we're also co-located at the Long Beach Police Department. We have a desk in the Special Victims Unit of LBPD, and we work with the detectives that do elder abuse and domestic violence cases, and that relationship is really important. There are a lot of times when the theory of some kind of protective order, like a restraining order, doesn't always match how it's enforced by law enforcement or by other entities that might be involved in that process. And we're able to kind of connect some of those gaps by having that relationship with the police department. In addition to having a focus on Long Beach, we also serve the greater Long Beach area. That's Harbor City, the most southern parts of South LA, Southeast Los Angeles County. There's 4 specific APS offices that we have really close relationships for those referrals. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the restraining order process, because I think it's a good way to highlight some of that Do What It Takes model. So we might have a client that it has difficulty reading a restraining order form. These forms can be over 40 pages. There might be some mobility issues in terms of how they're filling it out, in terms of the use of their hand. That form does need to be submitted and filed in the court. They need to later go back to court to request sheriff service. There's a in-person hearing that needs to happen. There's all of, it's a very complicated process, and a lot of it requires mobility and transportation. So if those are barriers and the client really wants this service to happen, we want to make sure that those barriers aren't what's preventing them from making that decision to move forward. So we'll sit with them, we'll fill out the paperwork with them, we'll go to court and we'll file it, we'll ride with them to their hearing at the court. We'll be there with them at the court for emotional support. If there's an issue with enforcing a restraining order that gets approved, we'll be able to advocate on their behalf with law enforcement. There's been times where we've had to find wheelchairs, and we've been able to wheel clients in and out of court and coordinate everything else that might be experienced in terms of mobility issues. In addition to that legal advocacy, we also provide therapy in this program. It's brief, it's usually 10 to 12 sessions. We have 2 support groups. One is specific to victims of romance scams, but we're adding a second one for another kind of specific kind of abuse dynamic that is quite common with our clients. We do crisis response and safety planning. We have emergency funding. We've used that emergency funding to replace doors that have been broken, to provide for transportation, basic needs like food or clothing. We also participate in the Elder Abuse Forensic Center, which is a multidisciplinary team of DMH social workers, law enforcement, district attorneys, the district attorney's office, LA City prosecutor, APS workers, Wise and Healthy Aging staff. So it's really a very comprehensive team that reviews really complicated cases of elder abuse, where it seems like just one agency just can't figure it out. There's just so many hurdles, and we bring these cases to that group, and we oftentimes do come up with really interesting, creative, and out-of-the-box solutions to those kinds of issues. I'm going to move on to our long-term care ombudsman program, which is one of the largest programs provided at Wise and Healthy Aging. I don't work directly with that program. I share an office, and I've developed quite a bit of information about how the program works. We respond to concerns and complaints regarding resident care and long-term care facilities. So it's very similar to adult protective services in that if there is a concern about some form of mistreatment or some care concern that's happening specifically in a long-term care facility, a nursing facility, an assisted living facility, then one of our ombudsman advocates will investigate that case and advocate on behalf of the client if the client consents to that advocacy. We have a range of locations throughout the county where we have offices in Long Beach, Montebello, Pasadena, Torrance. As an agency, we're headquartered in Santa Monica. We're in the Valley. I think one of the common questions we get sometimes is, if I apply to the long-term care ombudsman program, why I just be assigned anywhere that's that's open? And the question is, no, you apply to the specific location where you would want to do your internship at. There's a really specific and comprehensive training that's part of the long-term care ombudsman program. It's 40 hours. It's a combination of workshops and lectures by ombudsman level managers, as well as shadowing opportunities where someone would go out into the field and shadow a veteran advocate and then also be shadowed back. There's a range of complaints and reports that the ombudsman program responds to. It could be somebody isn't able to reach the water that's near their bedside. It could be, I'm not being bathed at the schedule that was agreed upon. It could be something more severe, physical or sexual abuse. In addition to responding to those specific complaints, the ombudsman program does unannounced facility visits to make sure that facilities are acting in accordance with regulations, that, to check in with clients, or I should say residents, to see if there's any concerns coming up in their care. Somebody asked about advanced directives. The ombudsman advocates will help residents with completing their advanced directives if they haven't already, or if they want to revise something. The Los Angeles County Ombudsman Program is a model program. Each county, similar to APS, administers their ombudsman program in a very different way, and there's an enormous range. And the LA County Ombudsman Program is very professionalized. The advocates are master level social workers, or they have a master's degree in gerontology. This is a list of our locations for the ombudsman program, and I'm just gonna move on and talk about our last internship opportunity, which is based in Santa Monica. This is our care management program, and the impetus behind this program is really to support seniors in staying in their home and living their life independently. And then these are some common experiences that an intern may have in this program. Information and referrals. Wise and Healthy Aging is really well known in Santa Monica on the west side, and we get a variety of calls from older adults in those communities just wanting to know about the services we provide or other services that might be available. And we respond to those calls and provide information and referrals on the resources we know that it may exist or be helpful for those community members. As far as training goes, there's a great amount of shadowing opportunity for interns to shadow other social workers within the care management program, as well as some of the other programs that take place in our Santa Monica headquarters. Over time, the intern is given a small caseload of clients. What a typical case looks like is doing comprehensive assessments, doing biopsychosocial assessments with their client to determine what their care needs are, coming up with goals together. And then the social worker is working to assist the clients in carrying out those goals that have been established, coordinating services. There's a couple other programs that somebody might be exposed to if they're interested, one being the Family Caregiver Support Program, which really has a focus on supporting caregivers. That might include counseling and information referrals. It might include facilitating a support group. These are some common questions that we get from students interested in our internship opportunities. First of all, when we think about job opportunities, we do have a really high success rate in that transition from graduation to being hired at Wise and Healthy Aging. As far as the days of the week of the internships, there's a lot of flexibility there. There's not a set day that that's required. As long as we're getting the required hours in, there's a lot of flexibility in what that schedule may look like. As far as in-person services go, for our elder abuse programs, that being the HEART program and the Budsman program, we do expect to be back fully or almost fully doing in-person support by the fall semester. That's in response to the needs of our clients and just the nature of the kind of work that we're doing when we're thinking about abuse. We want to be in the facilities, being able to actually have eyes on what's happening. The level of support that we're providing in the HEART program, where we may need to be with somebody at their court hearing, we really want to continue to provide that in-person support and feel like it's necessary based off of the needs of our clients. As far as supervision goes, it depends a little bit on which program or which site you're placed at. I would say more than half of our sites you'll be supervised. The supervision will be provided by the day-to-day manager, and if that is not something that we're able to provide at that location, then the weekly supervision would occur through Zoom. Here's my contact information. Really appreciate the time to talk about our work. And if you have any questions, I'm going to open up my chat box to see if there's anything that's come up.
Altimed is a healthcare corporation that started over 50 years ago. Originally, it was La Clínica del Barrio. It was really through some community organizing efforts, grassroots efforts of a small group of folks in the East LA area who noticed a disparity in healthcare service delivery and said, let's do something about this, and created a free medical clinic. And that really was the beginning of what Altimed is now. We have federally qualified health centers across Los Angeles and Orange County. All kinds of services from primary medical care to HIV/AIDS, domestic violence, youth, really serving the entire lifespan from infancy, really pregnancy to old age. This particular opportunity that we have at Altimed is within our PACE program, and PACE stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care of the Elderly. And what it really is a way to help folks who want to stay at home, who meet the criteria for nursing home placement, but rather than transitioning to that type of institutionalization, want to stay at home. And so we provide 24/7 care to them. And the foundation of it, as many of my colleagues have talked about, really is the IDT. We have 11 members on the IDT that kind of wrap their arms around each of our, right now, about 3,000 participants, to really make sure that we can keep them as safe as possible at home for as long as possible. So real quickly, the criteria for our participants, and we call them participants because we really encourage them to be actively involved in their care planning. We really want them to tell us what they need, what their preferences are for care, and then we try to create those care plans around those specific points. But this is for folks who are 55 and older, who meet the criteria, again, for nursing home level of care. So that means that they have significant deficits in their ADLs and IADLs, right? So bathing, cleaning, hygiene, laundry, all that kind of stuff. They have to have a safe place to live in the community. And so they apply and they become part of our program. And again, it's almost like we become their nursing home, but in the community. So 24/7, whatever their needs are, we address it. This opportunity for field placement is around our PACE center specifically. We have 10 right now. We just opened one in Anaheim. Santa Ana will be opening later this year, and we opened up a Long Beach center back in September. Right now, those newer centers aren't prepared for interns, but we do have 8 other centers across LA where we'll have those opportunities. I actually have to jump off, so I'm going to ask my partner, Maria Emilia, to continue to give you some specifics around what the GSWEC internship opportunity would look like at Altimed PACE.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me? You can see me. Hi, I'm Maria Emilia. I'm from the Grand Plaza Chinatown side. I'm very excited to be here. It's so nice to see familiar faces from our GSWEC cohorts. I can't believe last year we were all sitting face to face in Santa Monica, and now we're doing it remotely. But it's nice to be in the presence of such wonderful GSWEC agencies. So again, it's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to talk to you. Interns, you have one more year, and you're graduating, and I'm so happy for you. So let me tell you a little bit more about what our interns do. So our interns, they complete biopsychosocial assessments. They do discharge planning. They do case management, wherein we link our participants to resources like, especially now, housing. And then we also do therapeutic groups. And so an intern, you're also very much a part of the IDT. Now, let's see. One of the questions earlier that was asked is, what is a day in the life of an intern at PACE? So for example, our intern today, she did assessments. So she did an annual assessment. She also attended an IDT meeting. She also did discharge planning, because we have a participant that's going from home to nursing home to receive some rehab services. And then she's calling also some of our participants who are going for COVID vaccines tomorrow. So you have an intern that's pretty much doing everything that social work does. As an intern, you're part of the social work department. You're not like an intern. We treat you like one of us. We love our interns. We love the support that they give them, and we hope on our end that we also provide that support for you. So it's a very PACE loves social work. Our participants love us. They love it when we call. One of the things with COVID is that our participants are not coming to the center anymore for day center attendance. They pretty much are at home because of the social isolation precaution. It's safer for them to be at home, so we don't have them here coming to the site. For example, at Grand Plaza, one of the bigger sites, before COVID, we had about 150 participants every day. So now we don't have anyone. So as a social worker, you're going to have to learn how to provide instant rapport over the phone and try to figure out how our participants are doing. However, with PACE, we do send out our CNAs. They're nurse assistants, our participant care aides, and they go out to the homes and they do wellness visits. So it's not like they're out there and we have no access to them. What's also, so I think that's one of the challenges that interns face right now, is how do we develop that strong relationship over the phone or over the video. It's hard, but it's a different way of life. And I don't know if this is going to be our new normal, right, for a while. So, as you know, I'm here at work. I never went remote ever since COVID started. I've been here at AltaMed, and I'm very grateful because I feel safe. We're given PPEs when we need it. We wear masks all the time. So our interns do come to the center. So this coming fall, you will be expected to come to the site and do your internship through the site. Let's see. What else? Oh, we do have, one of the things that we've been happy about is that we do, okay, all right, Lisa's telling me to type my email. Okay, so I apologize for that. We do have the opportunity to hire our interns. In the past, 3 years ago, we hired our intern, and last year another intern was hired. So there is a chance, or we do love our interns again. So when there is an opening, you are pretty much our first choice to be interviewed and to be hired. We do have 7 opportunities for internship. We do have a stipend, and we also prioritize bilingual skills given the population we serve. So it's Spanish and Chinese specifically.
I won't go into a lot about Alzheimer's and dementia, other than to say, we've been here in the community at Alzheimer's Los Angeles for 40 years this year. Our interns are an integral part of our program. I think that Alzheimer's Los Angeles actually shares a lot of social work values. And so the whole place is run as though it was all social workers. But there are opportunities in both macro and micro. In terms of our macro, there is education, there is advocacy, and there's also working with the broader healthcare systems. So you would have an opportunity in education to be out in the community, which of course looks different now during COVID, and providing people with education about what dementia is, the symptoms, what to look for, and how to manage it. So, you know, different kinds of behaviors and communication. With advocacy, you would interact with the different local and state organizations and governmental agencies. And with healthcare systems, we actually work with a lot of the larger plans like LA Care and Kaiser. So that would be an opportunity to get to know them better also. On the micro level, we have a helpline which operates. We share that with Orange County, and that's answered in person by staff and volunteers during the day, and on evenings and weekends. People can leave a message and then we get back to them the next business day. The social workers are what we call care counselors, and they work directly with the families. So they may be working with a person who is caring for a parent or a spouse. We also have an early stage program so that if the person with dementia actually is able to participate in their own care, which we absolutely encourage, they're able to do that as part of a dyad, both themselves and a care partner. You would have an opportunity to work with support groups. You would have an opportunity to interact with the different departments within our agency, working with professionals in other agencies. And, you know, I think that what's been said in a couple of other presentations is really well taken, that it's really about developing relationships with the families. And, you know, I think that at Alzheimer's LA, we really make sure that that's something that you will be able to do, and a transferable skill that you'll be able to take anywhere that you go as a social worker. So that's just a very brief overview of what we offer. I'd encourage you to go to our website. It has a lot of information, which I'll type into the chat. Kathy Ladd is our VP of programs. She would also usually be here to talk a little bit more. And I will put both hers and my email addresses in the chat. We have offices in LA and in East LA. But again, right now we are completely virtual. And to be completely transparent, you know, we don't know what things are going to look like in the future, but people who are working virtually are very much supported. So, you know, you're not on your own. There's a lot of support.
Can you talk a little bit about the macro opportunities that might be available at Alzheimer's of Orange County or Los Angeles?
For Los Angeles, we do have people who are mainly macro, and you know, I think that that will still be possible. We do expose our interns to both micro and macro, so everybody that wants to be macro also has to do a little bit of micro. Everybody who's micro has to do some macro. But I think one of the unique things about our internship is also that you, in conjunction with your supervisor, get a chance to really shape it the way that you want to do it. There's usually so many opportunities that whittling it down to what's manageable to do in 1 year is usually the most challenging part. And your supervisor will help you do that.
Thank you for your patience today and for your interest in working with older adults. You can't go wrong with any of these agencies. In the chat, we listed a link to a Google folder. We have 4 short 2-minute videos in there that were done by this year's interns from GSWEC, talking about different aspects of the placement and their experience, as well as some other information on our professional development. And Nikki and I are available for questions through the chat or via email. But again, I appreciate your time and interest in older adults. Good luck next year.
Can you talk a little bit about the macro opportunities that might be available at Alzheimer's of Orange County or Los Angeles?
For Alzheimer Orange County, I would see that we would have a blended opportunity, clinical and meso. I do not anticipate a straight 100% macro. We've had a blended student this year, and she does have a video in the Google Drive if you'd like to look at that.
Hi everyone, my name is Cassandra from Partners in Care Foundation. I'm a program manager in our community wellness department. I'm here with Jacqueline Asensi from our Assisted Living Waiver Program and Dalia Perdermo from our Multipurpose Senior Service Program. So Partners in Care Foundation focuses on shaping the evolving health system by developing and spreading high-value models of community-based care and self-management. Our 3 departments that are currently accepting interns are our MSSP department, our Assisted Living Waiver Department, both programs which focus on micro placements, and our Community Wellness Program, which focuses more on a macro placement. We are interested in offering both the summer and the school year placement options. So first, we'll start talking about the Community Wellness Program. We're recruiting 1 intern at this time. The focus of this department is to implement various evidence-based health promotion programs focused around the city of Los Angeles and county as well. An intern in our department will be trained in one or more of our evidence-based programs, which include the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program, A Matter of Balance, which is specifically a falls prevention program, Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program, and the Arthritis Foundation Walk with Ease program. An intern in our department will co-lead these workshops with some of our staff or volunteers, help us to conduct some outreach and marketing activities with sites, recruit participants into these workshops, and we'll learn to collect and manage our participant data and observe workshop outcomes. So our placements are specifically, typically on Monday through Friday, so anytime in that time. We're typically located out of our San Fernando office, but currently we are offering our workshops either telephonically or online at this time. And I will hand it off to Jackie.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackie. I am a past GSWECer as well from UCLA, go Bruins. And I am the social worker for the Assisted Living Waiver Program. This program provides case management services for individuals wishing to move into an assisted living facility. The care management services are provided by a multidisciplinary care team comprised of a nurse and a social worker. The goal of the ALW program is to facilitate a safe and timely transition of older adults or adults with disabilities from a nursing home or hospital back into a home-like setting, typically in an assisted living facility. For this program, we are recruiting 1 GSWEC intern whose primary duties will include conducting monthly home visits to monitor service delivery for each member. Because of COVID, these monthly home visits have been over the phone or virtual. So hopefully, you know, depending on where the pandemic goes, we can start doing in-person things again. They would also be developing individualized service plans, attending virtual assessments, arranging services as needed, and assisting the facility transition process. We work with a lot of health plans, family members, skilled nursing facilities, Medi-Cal, Medicare, Social Security. We deal with a lot of outside entities. Our current interns started the internship on a hybrid model. So they came into the office once a week and then did virtual the rest of the week. And the office is located in San Fernando. And I'll enter my email and contact information in the chat if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Delilah, and I am part of the Multi-Purpose Senior Service Program, MSSP, located in Linwood. I'm a social worker care manager here, and I was also a GSWEC student. So the purpose of the MSSP program is to help seniors age in place by delaying or avoiding entirely inappropriate and costly nursing home placement through the provision of long-term services and supports necessary for independent living. So we work to empower and encourage independent um, living by providing services such as housing assistance, chore and personal care assistance, protective supervision, care management, respite, transportation, meal services, and community services. So these services are coordinated with our contracted vendors and local community resources. So essentially, the GSWEC intern will experience our MSSP program with opportunities to enhance their case management skills and increase their knowledge with resources within the city of LA and other parts of LA County, including Long Beach, Torrance, Inglewood, Compton, and Culver City. So the MSSP program provides a learning environment with direct experience in developing competency in the following areas. Psychosocial assessments, home safety evaluation, crisis intervention, care plan development, interdisciplinary team meetings, resources referrals, and service implementation, as well as collaboration with health plans. So prior to COVID-19, we were conducting home visits, but currently everything is done telephonically. There is the option for the intern to come into the office. So for this department, we're recruiting one GSWEC intern.
So welcome to the presentation for SSG Silver. SSG Silver is one of the different divisions from Special Services for Groups, except Silver specializes in the needs of older adults. Silver stands for Sustaining Independent Lives with Vital and Empowering Resources. And today I have with me two of my colleagues, Jasmine and Ginny, who is actually an MSW intern with us. I am a client care coordinator and AOT FSP team lead, and I'm also a GSWEC alum from 2017. So the main mission of SSG Silver is to prevent premature institutionalization of low-income adults and older adults from diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds, and that is to help with also reduce health and mental health disparities. Our work specializes in working with the Asian Pacific Islander community of Los Angeles, but we also work with other communities such as the Spanish-speaking community, and our partners include Cambodian Association of America, Little Tokyo, and all of our partners listed here. These are the services that we offer. Primarily, we are divided in two. So on one side of our services, we have aging services that focuses on linking our elders to resources that they need in their community. And also we have our mental health programs, which focuses on the moderate to severe mental health needs of our communities. These are just some pictures of some of the work that we do at SSG Silver. So it can range from walking and advocating for Alzheimer's. And we also have conferences that we plan and attend to advocate for the needs of older adults. And also we have team bonding activities that we do together. And during the pandemic, our services have switched to a more hybrid approach. So many times we work remotely. So we do our work with our clients through telehealth or by the telephone. However, there are some times when our clients' needs might be really big. And so sometimes we do need to visit them in person, but that's usually with our most intense mental health program, which is FSP. And then also if Jasmine could you please share about our KISM program and our telehealth program?
Yes, we have many different. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jasmine from the SSG server. I'm working with mostly Korean community. So we have a specific program for targeting the Korean-speaking older adults, which is a KISM program funded by DMH LA. So this program is like a more integrated care for like a physical health and mental health, and substance health and mental health together. So dual diagnosis program. So this program is a very like an open program for the undocumented individuals who are really marginalized, every kind of health services and mental health services. This program is pretty, essential for some people who feel like they're not in this country, So we supporting this program, the older adults through this program. Also, we have a telehealth program like more than 5 years. We have some project, building up the like a telehealth model in the senior community. We have a different like 5 or 6 senior community using the iPad, and we provide mental health service in like a face-to-face through the iPad. They can receive service in their own room, their own apartment. So which is a telehealth program we are doing. So, during the pandemic, the telehealth services, needs is increased, and we are, very busy for the, providing these services in many all over the LA County, and even some of apartment in Orange County. Yeah, this is us.
So yes, thank you, Jasmine. So yes, our work is especially to provide that cultural lens, especially working with the API community. Our internship experiences range from micro level to macro level, such as getting involved with the APCON, which is the Asian Pacific Policy Planning Council. So attending those meetings to advocate for the needs of the API community. And somebody that could also briefly share about her experience as an intern is Jenny Dolores, who we brought here today. So Jenny, could you please share your experience, please?
Of course, Jenny. Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. I am a second-year intern for SSG Silver, and I'm just here to share a little bit about my experience. So it's been a very hectic time, as everybody can probably feel and empathize with, but so I've been very supported at SSG Silver. I feel very able to ask for help when I need it, and I guess what you really probably want to know is what my day-to-day looks like. So I am doing micro and meso work right now. So I'm doing case management, and I'm also working on the newsletter. So I am providing resources to our clients, whether that be resources for housing, food. I'm working with clients that are experiencing, older adult clients that are experiencing homelessness, and being able to support them during this time has been really fulfilling. And of course, if you're more of a macro person, as Jenny mentioned, there are opportunities for that. And what I really love about working at this placement is that you're able to get that support, like I mentioned, but also get your needs met and communicate to your supervisor about, what learning opportunities there are here. And I feel really, again, supported, and I feel challenged, but and able to grow during this time. And thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you. Who knows?
So thank you very much, Jenny, for sharing. And also thank you very much for listening to what we have to share today. Here in this slide, there's some information about where we are located. We are located in Westlake, which is near the center of downtown LA. That's where our main office is. Prior to COVID, we were a field agency, but we do a mix of hybrid work, so remote and in-person unless it's like absolutely necessary, and we're always equipped with the PPE necessary to do our work safely. If you have any questions about internship, feel free to email our director, Yvonne Sun, at ysun@ssgsilver.org. She'll be able to answer your questions more specifically. On the side is more information about who you can talk to about mental health services. And also, if you'd like, I could also include my email in the chat box if you want to get more information about what it's like to be a GSWEC intern at Silver. So thank you very much, and hope that you all consider working with us at Silver.